Well, here we are waiting for Grandma to come. We're in Western Sizzler. There's flower arrangement that's been brought in. Everybody's gathered up. Bob and the girls. Paul and Bob and Joyce. And I don't know who that is yet, but I'm sure we'll find out. They're decorated. Happy birthday.
Yeah. Well, you can look at him and look at Grandma and tell they're related.
Yeah, they're bringing Grandma back. Bonnie and Uncle Dick and some of our cousins. This is coming Tuesday.
She said actually she's over 100 because she's in mother's womb for 9 months.
That's true.
Yeah. She got her new dress and everything.
Here she comes.
Yeah, we have to have 5.
Hello.
For 5.
How about a place for 25?
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Grandma.
No wonder it's closed.
That's right.
Coming here.
Yeah. This wears you out.
Happy birthday,
Yeah, we've heard that before.
Would you like to sit down?
Hello, Angela. Hey. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Fine.
Okay, we have a special place for you to sit when you get ready.
That's right. That's right.
Family. Grandma's greeting everybody. Yeah, you're on the camera.
Oh, really? Is she going to put that on?
Well, Grandma's still greeting people. Sarah, and there's Vicky, Paul's wife. Grandma's situated in here so that she can see everybody that's here.
Have you seen Vicky?
And the photographer's here from the newspaper to take a picture. Uncle Dick. Flower arrangement. More of the family. All getting set.
Well, it's not
Dean Williams. Ashley.
Today, and those from far away and those from not so far away. It's good to be here today to honor the matriarch of this family. And our plans, in case you're not exactly sure what we're going to do, is first thing we're going to do is eat. And I know that some of you may clap your hands for that, because I've heard a few people are a little bit hungry. But in any event, what we'll do, it might be easiest if the children, the parents are the ones that had the children, or take the children in line, and we just allow them to go, and then we'll all find our way through over there. And of course, you know, we chose this place so you could order whatever you wanted to order, and I believe they have menus for children as well as menus for adults. So we'll have a party. Everybody say amen to that.
Amen.
But the main thing we want to do is really honor 2 people today. And of course, it's been a tradition of many years ago that in February we would have a visit from Ohio. And that visit would be Mom. And she would come then so she could celebrate her birthday, as long as with two of her grandsons, Bob. This is Bob's birthday also. So we wanted to and of course we know that Mom's is not until the 10th. But she corrected me a little bit later on this month, the 19th. And so February's always been a big birthday month.
Well, you're speaking about our family, but Kim and Ashley both have a birthday on the 17th.
Oh, Ashley too?
Has one the 23rd.
Really?
So
Oh.
February is a big month.
Hers is the 17th.
I guess so. I didn't know that.
So let's bow our head and pray.
Oh, he's a great
Grandma at the table with Gerber's cousins. That's her niece. Bonnie. Uncle Dick. The back of Mark. Mark's wife. I haven't met her, so I don't know her name. Dean. Marilyn. Bob and his girls. Jeremy and Ashley sitting with Joe and Angela. It's Uncle Dick with William. And all the grandkids gathering around. It's Dean's boy. There's Melissa. Jessica.
That's what I was looking for.
Ashley back there. We're all recording here. Smile, Bob.
Smile, Bob.
You're on candy camera.
And also, we'll be having some cake served in just a little bit.
Almost ran into the birthday girl.
Bring that in, and Mark will be
Can I?
serving that.
Yeah. I got it. Let me get it. Thank you.
Our cousins.
Try to go on here.
Grandma's
You know,
nephew
A
and
long
his
life
wife from Ohio.
is really a blessing of God. It's also a privilege of ours, Mom, to share your life and to be with you. And we just, all of us want you to know how much we love you. You know, the Bible tells us that our life is like a vapor, and it's gone quickly. It doesn't take very long until a life is gone. And I know that when we're in our teens or younger, 100 years seems just like forever. But when you're 70 and when you're older, it's like, I've heard Mom share things recently and many times. It was almost like just a few years ago when she was a child, living up in Michigan, having no automobile, nothing like that, going to the store. Her family would go in riding the trains. Her father worked on the railroad. And so life goes by very quickly, and sometimes we kind of forget about some of those things and how important that they really are. But the Bible also tells us that each and every one of us are very unique.
Pick number 71.
And in that uniqueness, the Bible tells us that every one of us are a living epistle, which means our life is written down and its recorder, and according to the Bible, it's done so that others might read of us and others might know us. So that's what we want to do this afternoon, is in our own ways, and I know each one is an individual. Mom will have a different impact on each one of us, and yet those impacts that we have are very personal and very real to each one of us. And so we're going to give you an opportunity today.
72, please.
If you want to share something
Thank you.
a little bit later on, but Mom first is going to share something with us, and it's kind of a history. It'll be real informative to some of you who may not know. And I just pray that God will give Mom a little better hearing for the next few minutes so that she can hear the things that are being said. We've said that our hearing sometimes, when we lose it, we realize what we have lost. When we lose our eyesight, we realize what we have lost. But whether we can hear or not, whether Mom can fully hear us or not, there's still a love and a warmth that goes back and forth. So Mom, this is for you, and we just want to thank you.
I just wanted to give a little brief history because I realize some of you may not know. I hope you're interested in a little bit of this special lady that we're honoring today. I just wrote down a few things before I left, and I hope it will be of interest to you. Okay, this is I'm having trouble. This belongs at the top. Okay. She was born February the 10th in 1898 in Holland, Michigan. There were 6 children born into the family. One baby girl died that was born right after her at 7 months, so she has no recollection of her. Mother was a 3rd child. She had 1 sister, 2.5 years older, and 3 brothers. And the oldest brother's oldest son is sitting right over there, and we're so blessed to have them come and share this with us today. Both sets of grandparents immigrated from the Netherlands, and her parents were born in that area of Michigan, as each of their parents came over. Her father worked on the railroad, as he has already said. The mother was a hard-working, quiet, tall, slender lady who I remember well. She was such a sweet person and had a sense of humor and liked to tease me. I remember that. My hair was very thick and curly as a girl, and so I was given the name by my grandmother, Bonnie Briarbush, and that stuck.
Ticket number 73, please.
She was gone. She and my great aunt would write letters and say, "Dear BB," you know, Bonnie Briarbush. Actually, it should have been 3B, shouldn't it? Anyway, they lived together after my grandfather died at the age of 67. My grandmother was just 6 months short of being 90 years of age when she had a stroke and died shortly afterwards. Mother completed the 8th grade, and because the high school was 3 miles down the railroad track from their home, she did not continue on with her schooling. That was not at all unusual for that time. After staying around home and helping her mother for a couple of years, she moved to Grand Rapids to go to business college. Her sister had done that and landed a good job with a law firm. Mother boarded with a family and completed the 6 months of business college, after she had acquired the skills to do secretarial work. And she also obtained a good job with an advertising firm. Her sister and father paid for that to be possible. After working several years in that field, she decided to go to a Bible school in Owasso, Michigan, where she took several high school subjects and Bible courses. This prepared her for several jobs that she would have in the future, but little did she know the course that God had set for her. She eventually was asked to be the secretary to the college presidents of a school in Kingswood, Kentucky, from there to Colorado Springs, Colorado, and then to Greensboro, North Carolina. It was the fall of 1927, and she was traveling with a young evangelist and his wife in Tennessee, James Lambert and his wife Leela. James did the preaching. His wife and my mother sang and played their guitars. They were driving in their 1-seater car, which was comfortable for the 3 of them, and up ahead they saw 2 men sitting under a shade tree. They decided to stop and talk to them. They learned They were young evangelists walking to different churches in the area, holding meetings. It wasn't long before James and James and Leela took a walk. And soon one of the other men also just got up and left. And they just walked away. And that left Everett and Leah alone together. She got a little acquainted with him and learned that he had attended God's Bible School in Cincinnati, Ohio for 4 years and was spending the summer preaching. Well, they developed some interest in each other and agreed to exchange correspondence. After a few months, Leah received a letter requesting her hand in marriage. So she traveled at his request to Grimsley, Tennessee, where Leah Verberg became Mrs. Everett Osborne. Her friend, James Lambert, performed the ceremony. It was February the 3rd, 1928. The newly married couple traveled all around Tennessee. He preached and she sang and played her guitar. By the fall, he decided to take her to Kentucky to meet his family, and they spent the winter and spring there. From there, they went to Marion, Ohio, where several Osborne brothers lived and worked. He knew he needed to find work to support his wife and soon-coming child. Ronald Dean was born in November of 1929. 2 years later, another little boy was born, Warren Leonard. And 2 years later, they were blessed with the cutest, blonde, curly-headed little girl you ever want to see. And guess who that was? And as much as I wanted a baby sister and I pleaded to get one, I never got my wish. I guess after me, they decided that was enough. Actually, times were pretty hard then, and families struggled just to put food on the table. We moved to Kentucky, back near my dad's family, for 5 years. But though it was a happy time for us children, it was very difficult for my mother. My dad would often have to leave to find work and be gone for weeks at a time. And so when I was 8 years old, we moved back to Marion, Ohio, bought a house, and there my dad and mother lived together for 40 years in that house. My dad went to be with the Lord at 85 years of age, and mother continued to live in the old house alone until 2 years ago. By the way, they were married for about 53 years when he died. But she continued to live there alone in that house until 2 years ago when Mark and I made an unforgettable journey in January to rescue Mother between snowstorms and bring her to Georgia. She lived with Mark for 2 months until we got our home ready to live in. It has been our joy to have this dear lady
Check number 75.
with us for these 2 years,
Thank
and
you.
I feel our family has been richly blessed to still have her with us. And I wanted to read something that I read from one of my mother's journals that she wrote back in January of '73. It isn't anything maybe significant except that this is a brief excerpt which tells a little bit of her feelings regarding her young life. And this is what she wrote. I am deeply grateful to God for the good parents I had. I have often thanked Him that I was not born in a heathen home where the name of Christ was unknown, but to parents who were God-fearing, who read the Bible every day in the presence of their family. They have been gone now for many years. I know they are at rest in the presence of God. I was brought up hearing the Bible read every day, attending Sunday school and church services all my life. I have known nothing else but that. I am also thankful for the good brothers and sister I had. We were a peaceable family, and that was from her journal. And then, do I have time just to read another little? This is just my own words. Anyone who knows Mother knows how important her faith is to her. She exemplified Christ in our home and in many areas of church work. She taught the adult Sunday school class for almost 30 years. She was often the church pianist, served on the board, and was secretary for many years. My folks did the janitorial work of our church for some time. My dad would go early on Sunday morning, stoke the furnace, put coal in there, and get the heat going in the church so we could have a warm building to to worship God in. I remember as a child him holding me up to reach the big rope that rang the church bell before every service. Mother sang many solos for church services. Church was a very important part of my life. My mother has blessed many playing her auto harp in younger days. We attended church twice on Sunday and on Wednesday night until I was a teenager. I thought my parents were too strict, but I always loved going to church as a child. And I am forever grateful to God for giving me such a godly
Pick number 76.
father and mother. This dear woman here has always been my inspiration and has never failed to encourage me. She has always supported me, loved me, no matter what. And she's let me know her encouragement in many ways. She has tremendous love for each one of her family. Every one of you sitting here, she loves you dearly, genuinely cares about each one, and prays for each one of us every day. I know why God has kept her here so long, and how I praise him for that. My parents were very modest, humble, and plain people. We never had a beautiful home, but I remember my parents always worked hard. They were healthy and happy. I never heard an argument between my parents. There was always an atmosphere of peace and contentment. I don't ever remember my folks worrying about anything. They trusted God. It was not just what they professed, it was what they lived, day in and day out. They were a shining example of morality, goodness, and trust. The best gift a person can have in life, in my opinion, is the legacy my parents gave me. They loved and served God. This is the highest calling.
And I've told so many people that I have one living aunt, and she's going to be 100 years old. She's down in Georgia, and Eleanor and I are going to go down and see her. And I want to thank you for inviting us.
You have blessed us. I will do it, but I think you'll be seeing us in Michigan these days.
Good.
Anybody?
Bring Aunt Leah along.
She's game. She goes.
She wrote us letters, very interesting typed letters that were long. What's nice?
She still writes long typed letters. She still does that. You know, I've shared some of this. Right? Anybody else?
I think Mark wants to say something about it.
Well, I know that,
when Bonnie and I first started going together, I believe that I saw something in the family that I didn't have. And one of the things that I saw, and I didn't have any idea what it was, that it meant that I saw a Christian family. And I had an emptiness in my heart. And again, I didn't know what it was. But I fell in love with this lady probably before I did this lady. And we've had something going from the beginning, haven't we? We've been so close all the way through. And I don't know. I guess both of us sensed and felt a long-time relationship that we didn't understand or know, but God has brought it about. And to God be the glory. We miss Dad. We miss the rest of the family. We will cherish all the days of our life, our families.
Check number 77,
So many
please.
things that we could talk about, but when we get up there, we'll have eternity to discuss a lot of these things.
You see how emotional my son is, Mark. He's so precious. He is so much like my father. My father is
Thank
just
you.
like him, in that he just cried so easily. And that's why I just love that in him, because I saw it in my dad. And when I was a kid, I was embarrassed about that. But the older I got, the more I appreciated the tender heart. And I think all of my sons have that in them, and I just am so thankful for that. Of course, this guy's pretty special and pretty emotional too at times.
Check number 78, please.
But don't be embarrassed, Mark. We want to hear what you have to say.
Well, it's not easy
Thank
to
you.
speak. I just know that a lot of our memories are, you know, grandma and grandpa. Just, we had an awful lot of fun on the farm. Grandma's house, I know that. When I went up a couple of years ago after I had my accident, I got to stay with Grandma for a couple of weeks. I'd always remember going up there and snow on the ground. It was really neat because it wasn't snow when I got there, but the next morning when I woke up, there was snow on the ground. I was just had those memories of the rabbit hutch and being at Grandma and Grandpa's and listening to that little bird. I guess Paul's got the bird cage, and
Grandma on the porch, and Grandpa up in the garden, sweat over on the shirt, waving goodbye to us. And it's always a memory that all of us will have. And that's what that represents to me, is the stability and foundation of our lives. No matter where we live and how many times we moved, the house was still there and they were still there. We always knew that. We always knew that.
Mm.
And if you can, maybe somebody can help.
Of all of this celebration, I've tried to discourage her, whatever she planned. But I'm so glad for each one of us here. Some friends, there's a friend, and I'm sure that here there are others, and some relatives of mine. I just, all that she read is the truth because she got it from me. And I just want to say that the truth, and Harold over there knows how our forebears, our fathers, at the close of a meal, and usually they had to work all day, and the only meal they had with our family was in the evening. We called it supper. And when we were through, we sat there, 5 of us kids. We sat there. Father pulled the Bible off the corner. Instead of his plate, he read a portion of Scripture. I knew from childhood that that Holy Bible was the real thing and that I could trust. And as I think she read that in a mission service, my sister was such a godly girl, just a little older than me. And she asked me one evening, we were in a mission in the city of Holland, and the preacher asked if there's anyone who wanted to come and give their heart to the Lord. My sister asked, she said, would you like to give your heart to Jesus? I said, yes, and she just took me right down to the altar and prayed. And my mother was waiting for us when we got home. And she said, my sister said, now you tell Mom what happened. And I did. And Mother she was such a godly woman. And she taught me things that I am practicing yet today. And I hardly know how to go on. I just fall off. You don't understand that. And
Check number 80.
and
Thank you.
I just want to say something about this man right here. The first time I saw him, my daughter had been She was up in the middle teens, and I wasn't just too happy with some of the fellows that came to the door to get it. I mean, just this one chap came to the door, and he had a great big cigar in his mouth. And I knew who he was. I mean, what he was there for. And I said, well, you may come in, but you have to lay that thing on the banister. He said, we don't smoke. Now, I think Harold over there, he knows some principles of the Dutch people, and our ancestors came across from the Netherlands. And,
Just press that one to stop.
a lot of the time this daughter of mine knows some expressions I make or feelings I might show. I'll say, well, that must be the Dutch up in me. Showing up. Well, anyway, I'm proud of the fact, Harold, that our grandparents were so good.
So you were going to say something about him.
I was. Oh, yes. So the evening that she was going to have a date with him, he was a young man then. And he said he and my husband was there. We three.
81, please.
My husband was sitting
Thank
there.
you.
They were talking together. I was listening and looking over. And I said to my heart, there's a young man I know I can trust. I trusted in him for
47 years.
47 years. I've never been disappointed. I just want to tell you one thing. He said to me when I came down to make my home with them, my husband had been dead for 17 years. And I lived alone, had good neighbors, and we all got along fine. There was a few families, but I couldn't live alone anymore. It was right after Michigan. That area had their first blizzard of the season.
Ohio.
What did I say?
Michigan.
Oh, I can't help but refer to Michigan. It's deep from here. And so their oldest son came up with her. And I arrived in Georgia.
We had airlift.
And I had my first birthday party in Mark's house and home. And we had quite a celebration that night.
Sarah was there for that.
Yeah, that's right. And so I've been living down with these folks since that time. And
so what did Dick tell you when you came to live with us? What did he tell you?
well, I'm going to tell. Yeah. I said, yeah, that's Dutch.
I can't help it.
And that's an answer I get a lot from her too. If I ask her something, she'll say, yeah. Oh, well. Anyway, I hadn't been, we three had just moved in a mobile home. And he said to me one day, he said, Mom, you're not a Buckeye anymore. You're a Georgia peach now.
And so you are.
And I didn't feel offended either. Well, I'm just thankful that I had this precious daughter. We get along pretty good, don't we? She said I used to take care of her. Now she's taking care of me.
Yeah.
And I almost sometimes have to do what she tells me.
You didn't want to come out to eat dinner today.
Ticket number 82, please.
Well, anyway, I appreciate this gathering.
Thank you.
I appreciate this gathering. I knew something was cooking at home, and she wouldn't even hint at anything. How surprised I was to come in. I didn't think I was going to live till Christmas. But, of course, none of you folks know what it is to be near 100 years old.
Ticket number 83.
But I lived through Christmas and was looking forward
Thank
to
you.
this 100. And Dick checked. He said to me the other evening, I was feeling kind of weary, weak, and he said, "Now, Mom, don't you check out before your birthday." And, here I am. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be. She thinks I'm going to stick around for quite a while yet.
I do too.
But, there's a religious good hymn, some of the hymn books in the church, that says, all
84, please. Thank you.
all the way the Lord leads me. What have I to ask beside? Can I doubt his tender mercy when through all my life he's been my guide? Heavenly peace, that's what I've had in my heart since the evening I knelt by my sister and told the Lord I wanted him to come in. He's been in my heart ever since. And I don't know, sometimes at night I can't sleep very well. And I just, sleep just doesn't come. I talk to the Lord a lot in the night, and I say, why? Why this? Ask him questions. Why? He never answers me. It's like I'd like to know sometimes. I would just kind of like to know how much longer I'm going to stick around in Georgia before I go to heaven. I told my doctor the other day when we checked in, well, I didn't have a thing wrong with me, but I go in every now and then to have everything checked, and he said, "You come back in 6 months." I looked at him and laughed, and I said, "You sure don't expect me to be around 6 months longer." I said, "If I'm not here, you'll know I'm up there." I don't know how much longer it is, but I have this confidence in the Lord that he's going to give me strength and help for whatever. Oh yes, I want to say a promise that I found in my Bible. The Lord definitely showed it to me one time after my husband died, and I picked up no, that was just before he died. Yes, just before he died. And it wasn't very happiness in my heart to know.
Ticket number 85, please.
To know I would soon be a widow at 83 years of age. And my Bible fell open to this promise back in the Old Testament. It said,
Number 85, please.
Two verses I meant to say. It said like this: fear thou not, for I am with you.
Thank you.
Be not dismayed. That means don't be discouraged. For I am thy God. I will strengthen thee. I'll help thee. I will uphold thee. And I tell them so many times when I'm about to, I think maybe I'll fall over. It says, I will uphold you. That means I said, here I am, Lord. You just hold me up. Don't let me fall. For I, the Lord thy God, will hold thy right hand. I said a lot of times during the day, and I feel I'm weak. Because you folks don't know how it is to be weak in body like 100-year-old. For I, the Lord thy God, will hold your right hand, saying unto thee, fear not, I'll help you. He's done it so much. I have this faith in him that he will. I don't know how many days it's all right with me.
I feel like I've been to church, Mom.
She could do some preaching still, couldn't she?
Some are going to have to go. But right now, if you can help Mark, we'll have some cake. You want to bring it in?
Yeah. I guess I'm gonna shut her down now.
Make a wish. Yeah, and then blow out the candles after you made your wish.
All right, my wish is that my
You're supposed to
listeners.
tell us. You're supposed to tell us.
We want to hear this.
Oh, you want to hear it? Okay, we want to hear
This
it.
is all
Go
right.
ahead.
If I live a year like she thinks I ought to live on and on and on. But as the doctor said, 6 months. Another doctor said 2 months.
So what's your wish?
8 months.
Tell us your wish.
That is, it's as much a prayer as anything. As long as I live and he gives me breath.
Cake number 87. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ruby, buddy.
Well, let's blow it out.
Let's see you blow out your candle.
Blow it out before it burns up.
That hot air out there.
And I wonder. And I had one breath. I'm glad I didn't have to blow 100 times.
I am too. Not bad. All right, you can take the candles on and lift the icing on it.
You want her to cut it?
You gotta get down a little bit.
Oh, never mind, we cut it.
We didn't know you.
We're gonna have, yeah, we're gonna have.
He knows what he's doing.
We're just gonna wait for her to do her part of it.
He's had a good
Yep.
dinner. Would that be?
There's a lot of eating there, isn't there? Hey there, buddy.
Has he got it there?
Yeah.
Look now. It's pretty tasty.
You keep telling.
Is there anyone who has not had the opportunity to write something? I don't think you have either, have you?
Already.
you give him a little hand.
Do you want me to help dish that out?
When he gets done.
I think we can probably get it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll just leave it. Thank you.
Did you have fun?
Oh, no, I like your He's recording me. With our own camera. Ooh, you sneaky devil, you.
Having fun.
Thanks for taking over.
I think you baited me for that. I really think you set me up.
No, I didn't.
Because you came right back. You said, I'm going to go back and check on Bob, and it looked to me like you just walked over and around the table.
No, I didn't.
You were standing right back here.
I did go
You
check.
probably saw him coming. You were just tired of holding his camera.
We do have a knife here, Mark, if you want to do it this way.
Well, this way looks nice.
That's true.
Yeah. Just like we do it up at the senior center. It's pretty interesting way to cut it. Stays together good. Yeah, they have a. Well, what do you want for next year's birthday? What do you want us to do for next year?
What do I want for next year?
Yeah.
You want another party?
Do you want a party next year?
Oh, sure.
Sure, yeah, there you go.
I feel good.
Last year, I heard, I don't want another one. And now you want another one. You want to make your mind up.
She always said a wise man changes his mind, a fool never does. Okay. She can eat that, baby.
Sure, she can. She has quite a palate now.
Oh, we have ice cream too?
No.
Oh.
I wasn't sure.
Where's
I
that?
told him I thought that might be a little bit much.
Yeah, you. Yeah, I think so.